Hello and welcome to Danny's Garage. Today we're going to have a look at the Zvezda reference 147K, and it's basically a lip watch that was made under license in the Soviet Union. Zvezda here is written on the dial but in Cyrillic, and actually it means star in English. And if you know the brand, that means that you are probably a Soviet watch expert, because it's quite uncommon brand, because it stopped to exist, I think, in late 50s, early 60s maybe. So basically the story behind this watch is quite interesting, because it started in 1945 when the Soviet Union wanted to modernize their watch industry, and they have to turn to an external country. They didn't turn to the Swiss, they didn't turn to the UK or the German, but they turned to the French. And LIP, leading French watch factory, has just developed a new movement, a rectangular movement with a rectangular watch. It was called the LIP T18, and it's actually almost the same watch as this one, which is Art Deco design. All started with Fred Lippmann, who was the founder of LIP, and he sold the T18 patent to the Soviet, and he also acted as an intermediary with a Swiss manufacturer to obtain the machinery necessary for the watch production. The first watches that were produced in collaboration were actually not this one. It was mainly women watches sold under the branding ZIF, and they were produced until the beginning of the war in the 1940s. In 1940, the ZIF branding was changed to Zvezda, which translates to star, and they were produced in the Penza factory. At the end of the war, the Zvezda production stopped, and it was replaced with Pobeda, which means victory in Russian. And in 1949, the Penza factory went back to produce again Zvezda watches, and they produce actually this model. This Zvezda watch was not cheap, because in a chrome-plated version like this one, cost in 1954 350 rubles, where at the same time an average worker salary was around 300 rubles a month. So if we look at these photos, we can see that Zvezda 147 is basically a LIP T18 with different branding. There are slight differences in the dial, but it's actually very close. So these watches were produced between 1940, and I think the production stopped in the late 1950. I didn't find any sources that give me information that they were still produced in 57. I saw some model from 56, but none from 57. So if you have an idea, you can let the information in the comment. There are actually few dials version, as we can see here in the catalog. So there were 3 references. Let's open the case back to look at the movement. So it's more difficult than what I thought to have a look at the movement. I'm not so sure how to do that. So let's just wind up the watch. So we have the small second ticking. I'll zoom on it. As you see, it's quite old already, but not too bad for a 80 years old watch. So this one is cream and a little bit more dark cream or dark gray. It's difficult to say today, but there were a lot of variation of the same dial. There were even a black version of the dial, which is quite uncommon. And I would say the dial is divided into 4 parts. So we have the second or the minute track, which is outside. Then we have in an inner rectangular part with a numeral, which are in Arabic, and they are in black, I would say. And then in the center we have a smaller rectangular with which is of lighter beige, with the Zvezda written in Cyrillic. And below we can see the small second dial with second track and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60. And as you can see when I play with the light, that the minute and the second hands are in blue, so they are heated blue, but the second hand is in black. Even though we cannot look at the movement, it's almost exactly the same as the LEAP T28. There are just some minor cosmetic changes, and it was renamed into caliber 1802. It was built in the Penza factory because there is the stamp of the factory on the movement, and it's 15 joules. And actually what is nice is that we can see the year of production of the watch. I know that this one was made in 1953 because I got a photo from the seller at the time, and actually this watch was fully serviced and fully restored by the shop. So we can see here the case, which is chrome plated. Actually, it's called chromium here. There were some 14 karat gold version also. And we have a simple case back, which is slightly curved with absolutely no marking on it. So the lugs are fixed, and the opening is 16 millimeters. The case diameter is 22.5 plus the crown, and the lug-to-lug distance is 38.4 millimeters, and the thickness is 9.4. So it's quite slim, even though it has a domed acrylic crystal, and it weighs with this, I think, period correct strap, because if we can see the construction, it seems quite old. It weighs 28 grams. Here is my Zvezda close to a record watch Co Genève, which is actually from the late 30s. And you can see the difference, but basically they are really on the same theme, the Art Deco theme. So let's put the watch on my wrist. And the watch was supplied also with a box. So it's not in good condition, but it's the original box. So it's really Art Deco rectangular case design, which was quite popular in the 30s and in the 40s. And in the 50s, it was replaced with more conventional round case watches, like for example this Sportivni. Actually, this rectangular Art Deco design was invented by Cartier with a Cartier tank, which was inspired by a Renault tank from this era. But now this rectangular design is back on fashion because almost all the brands have today rectangular watch on their catalog, from Casio, I would say, to the most expensive and luxury watch brand. If you are looking to buy this type of watch, this one is interesting compared to the Lip one because it's basically half the price, sometimes even more. So if you find one, I would recommend to buy one that has been serviced, because for 50 to 75 more USD, you can find a service watch, which is actually the premium for a Russian or Ukrainian watchmaker to make a service on this kind of watch. So I hope you enjoy the video. So if it's the case, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you can see more review in the coming weeks.